Hello Saberland, this is MK Sabers, and here is a Graflex A New Hope version reveal for Ted. This is going to be probably one of the most advanced builds that I've done to date, so thanks Ted for allowing me the honor of building this for you. I really appreciate that. And so here's your build. So to start off, we'll start from the outside. It is a Roman Graflex, has all the movie accuracy of a Roman's Graflex. We've got the solid grips. We've got with the with the correct angles on the grips. Nice Graflex embroidered clamp, bubble strip, glass eye. The glass eye is shine through for this build. It is also the blade retention, so tightening the glass eye holds in the blade plug and the blade. Loosening the glass eye releases the blade plug. There is a brass pin blade plug. It is a NeoPixel blade plug, so when the saber is turned on, it does light up. Activation switch, main activation switch, aux switch, which has a little bit of movement. We'll get to that a little bit when we're doing the fitment of the chassis. The chassis can go so far forward to where it will jam up the aux switch. So if you look here, there's just a little bit of movement. If you push the chassis all the way in, it'll push this switch all the way to its stop and won't allow you to activate the activation switch, the aux switch for the Proffie board. So you'll have to make sure that your alignment here using the glass eye when you're putting in the chassis, because the chassis is a full reveal. So it's got the pins and the top end of the black blade holder stay in place the entire time. And so I want you to keep that in mind as well. And I'll go over the alignment as well. But the key is when you're putting the chassis back in, that this aux switch still has a little bit of play in it so that it can activate the aux switch on the chassis. So one of the upgrades I did for you, Ted, is that I'll be honest, A New Hope, I did a balance between movie accuracy and the FX blade functional, or the FX saber functionality. And one of those is, you'll see the bottom of this Graflex is completely sealed. So when you put the Graflex together when it's on and it's doing its sounds and everything, if you put the saber completely together, it really does muffle the sound. However, the best thing I could do, now you can always drill extra holes in there, but I'll leave it up to you to drill those holes in there, because then it detracts from the movie accuracy. What I've done is I've actually drilled 3 sound vents underneath this D-ring, okay? And then there's a washer between the screw and the D-ring to allow the sound to come out through the bottom of the hilt, because that's where the speaker is. So just to let you know that if you want more sound to come through, probably the only way to do it is to drill extra holes in here, and that just feels wrong to me. So I've done the hidden speaker vents behind this D-ring. It did allow probably 20 to 30% more sound to come through, but it definitely is muffled with the saber altogether. But that's just the design of the hilt. I just want to be fully transparent. I can show it to you in this video as well. So some care and instructions to take the hilt apart and to reveal your Mentor Goth3d chassis. Open the clamp, pull it apart, and it comes apart relatively easily. And here is the Goth Mentor 3D chassis. Kind of showing all the angles here. It is in pristine configuration. Some of the features on this is it does have the kind of half removable clamshell with neodymium magnets. So actually, before I get into that, on one side you've got the on-off switch, and on the other side you've got the recharge port. So you can recharge the saber at any point. The recharge port is wired in to where when you charge the saber, it shuts it off by default. So whether the saber's on or whether the saber's off, whether you have the switch on or off, once you plug in the charger, it will turn off the saber. So I recommend turning off the saber, plugging in the charger, and then charging it. Charging is very simple. Of course, with all my saber commissions, you'll get the stand, the full NeoPixel blade, an adapter to go into the 1.3 millimeters. So the main charger, which is right here, will plug into here, and then this smaller end will actually go into the charger. Charger's pretty simple. It's a 1 amp charger, fast charger. When the green light is lit, it's a smart charger. It's got a lithium polymer LiPo battery in it that's got a smart charging circuit. You can't overcharge it. It'll shut off once it's reached its minimal voltage. You'll probably notice distortion in the sound before the Proffie board will actually stop working, or the battery will shut off when it gets to a lower voltage. This build goes for about 50 minutes to an hour on a charge. It takes 2 to 3 hours to fully recharge from a down charge. Some battery maintenance: always leave the saber fully charged. So if you're going to display it or things of that nature, always leave the saber fully charged between storage, because you want to keep that battery at its top voltage, so that as it's sitting there, the voltage slowly drops. And then I'd recommend, if it's been sitting there for 6 months or a couple months, go ahead, top off the charge again before using it. This is brand new in the bag. I'm not even going to open it. It'll go to you. So again, back to the hilt. This is a Mentor chassis, so it does have multiple reveal options, and so you always have to be careful handling it like this, because it's a Mentor chassis. It can pull out because of the pins. You'll see that the pins are here, and you can do a partial reveal. I'm not going to pull the pins all the way out because then I'll mess up the alignment, because it only can go in one way to line up the pins. And so you can actually pull this all the way out. It'll come all the way out. But for this video, I'm going to keep it like this so I don't mess up the orientation. So this is considered like the partial reveal. And you can do this while it's powered on or powered off. I prefer powered off, because if you accidentally short those pins, there's a positive and negative pin. I've made it completely opposite pins, but if those pins touch the inside of this metal casing, that can be really bad. So if you do what do I want to say, like a partial reveal, I recommend doing it while it's off. Every once in a while it will, this is just a little area, I didn't want to file this down because it's nice shiny brass. Every once in a while it'll hit the chassis. You just have to do a slight little push in, and then it'll go in. Everything with this is very slow movements, and if something is not fitting, don't force it. That's the key to this chassis. So that's the partial reveal. Like, that can come out at any point. It is actually pretty snug in there, so long you're holding on to it and swinging it around, it'll work just fine. What else do I want to say about that? Let's see. The full reveal. If you want to do a full reveal, loosen up. Actually, you have to remove the glass eye. Pinch the bunny ears here. Remove the blade plug. And back out this main switch about 2 turns. You don't have to take it all the way out, but back it out 2 turns. And actually, I like using the blade plug to kind of push the entire chassis out. And what that does is that then reveals the rest of the chassis. And once you grab the top piece of the chassis there, it then reveals the full chassis reveal for the Mentor chassis. And so here is your full Mentor chassis. Now, obviously nothing's been powered up yet. Some of the cool things here is we've got a Solos Hold copper blade holder. And as you can see, you can actually put the saber back together if you wanted to. Screw in the glass eye, and you could leave the chassis completely out and the saber put completely back together. And I'll kind of display that here if you really wanted to. It's kind of a neat feature with the Solos Hold Master chassis, is that you can have still your static prop, glass eye, all the pins are there with the Solos Hold. There's that extra cost came in, and the chassis is fully removable. Here I'll show the pin lineup. Like I say, this chassis is the Mentor, so it can fully come out. This is where you have the reactor. This is the reactor feature, hand wound motor wires reactor feature. Obviously, when putting it back together, I want to make sure that these things are aligned. I'm doing this on camera, so it's a little bit harder. And then once the pins align, there's 10 pins, they just slide right in. And there's just a ton of detail on this chassis. We've got the 3D printed, this is a shine through LED on the side here when the NeoPixel blade plug is in. We've got the aux switch over here, main activation switch, beautiful grill work on this side. This also has the rotating crystal chamber, the Saber Essentials premium bass speaker, access to the Proffie board, so SD card access and reprogramming the Proffie board. This, like I say, this has 24 blade styles. I'll also be giving you the config that I put on this Proffie board as well. That's the access. There's going to be an amber accent light over on this side. The removal of this reveals the LCD panel, and you'll see here that I've added a switch. So this is a preference that you can do. Is by default, when the switch is in the up position, it is driving the rotating crystal chamber. If you put the switch in the down position, it shuts the rotating crystal chamber off. So you have an option of keeping that rotating crystal chamber on all the time, or you can shut it off as needed. So here we go for the reveal. We're going to power it on. And what happens right away is that we've got a flickering LED. You'll see that the crystal chamber started rotating. We've got a flickering LED on the top. We've got the amber accent coming through here. I can pull it off. There's the amber accent in there. And then what happens is that the LCD screen is showing full charge, full to just a little bit. So it defaults to a charging screen, so the LCD. So if, like I say, you wanted to turn off the rotating crystal, switch down the switch, and the rotating crystal chamber has stopped. Turn the switch back on, and it starts back up. So off, on, and there you go. So it's optional. It's an optional rotating crystal chamber. If you change, I did load up some animations. So let's say, so on this particular font, all the crystals are off while the blade is off. If you power on the blade, then the crystal comes alive. All right, we've got, let me put the saber back together here. We've got smooth swing. And all the Proffie features, blaster block, lockup, things like that. There's also music. Hold down. Kind of a neat feature here is when you change fonts, there is a screen animation. So if you wanted to show somebody, we've got a screen animation here. As it swings over to the other animation, and then it goes back to, so what it does is it shows the animation for about 5 to 10 seconds, and then it goes back to the battery indicator. So it's always going to default to the battery indicator. That's the default thing for the Proffie. Now on this blade profile, I have the crystal pulsing between red and blue. This all can be changed in the Proffie configs. Like I say, I'll give you the Proffie config that I configured with the 24 things. The 24 blade profiles. And then when you activate the blade, it stops pulsing and then goes to just standard blue. Right. So it's a really wonderful chassis. And then when you power it off, it goes to other things. And I, like I said, I put in 24 blade styles.
Smooth Jedi.
Different colors. There's another Jedi.
This is General Kenobi.
I got a General Kenobi on here.
Presumptuous. This Yoda.
A green blade. And if you want to show people with the NeoPixel now, there's nothing to hold it in, but you can actually put it in here and it'll show through. So if you want to see the shine through blade and things like that, that shows as well. It'll work. It gets really interesting here when you get the green and the blue interfering on the top here. When you see it in person, it's actually really neat. Let's see what other features. Oh, something I almost completely forgot. In the bottom of the hilt, there's the Bluetooth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reassemble the saber. I'm going to do this off screen so that I don't break anything. I'm going to put the saber back in. Now remember, take the glass eye out. Make sure the main activation is out about 2 turns. Make sure everything is lined up. You may line up the activation button with the activation button. You can put it in here. I'm going to actually switch it off while I'm putting it in here, just in case. And I'm going to line everything up. And I'm going to make sure everything's nice and straight. Straightness is key because of getting that the aux switch lined up. And what I'm going to show you here is you can see the top of the right here. You see it come in here, and as soon as it comes in here, then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to check for that little bit of wiggle in the aux switch, because if I put up another couple millimeters, it then makes it to where you can't move the aux switch. So you got to back it out just a hair. And then what I'm going to do here, you're not going to get this. This is my demo blade, so that I can swing things around. I'm going to put the demo blade in, and you'll feel the spring loading of the NeoPixel pins in there. And then I'm going to reinsert the glass eye. Put in the glass eye. I'm going to tighten that down, making sure not to cross thread it. Tighten it down to hold down the blade. And verify that I still have a little bit of wiggle in the aux switch, which I do. Now everything's locked in place. However, because it is a Mentor chassis, you still have to be careful when you have it in this configuration, because this can technically come out. There's some neodymium magnets holding it together, plus the 10 pins, but that's all that's holding it in. You hold it just by the top here and start swinging around. This bottom piece could come out. So I'm going to go ahead, and what I'll do is I'll have the screen on when I boot it up here, just to let you see that it boots up with an animation screen. Little animation screen that builds up some things, and then it goes to the power indicator, and then we'll activate it. Oh, I forgot to turn the 2 screw. I forgot to get the button back down, and there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set down the saber and demonstrate the last feature, which is I'm going to get my phone and move some things out here, make it look nice. And this is a free app. It's the Force Sync app. And what you're going to do is you're going to see a PhysiCom. We're going to select it. It's going to connect. You're going to switch to Proffie, and it is going to connect to the saber. And I'm going to go into now it's connected. It'll say that the power cell is 3.9 volts. It's at 95% as it's running. And I'm going to go into remote control, and I can start the music. Stop the music. I can lock up, clash, blaster, force sound. I can I can reset. I can, let's see, what else can I do? I can power it off. I could power it on. I can, let's see. I can also show you the 24 presets. So if you go into show presets and list presets, it'll show you all the presets and all the fonts and everything that I put on there. So that's kind of nice. But now you have full Bluetooth control. Like again, you can, now none of these settings, I do not have the save settings. So if you wanted to like mess with sound, like you turn the sound off, turn the sound up. I've got it set for like 1100. You can go to the next preset.
Young Rey. Smooth Jedi. This is General Kenobi. Yoda. Moff Gideon. Kylo Ren.
Like I said, I've loaded it up with responsive blade styles. So I also recommend, I'm going to have this off for just a little bit. So I also recommend that you look at the Jedi responsive blade style. So you have responsive melt, you've got jab, you've got mid blade blast, lockup and blaster, random blaster shot, everything that the Proffie OS 4.7 has to offer on most of your blade styles. Not all of them. I loaded a couple fun ones in there, like a Cylon blade style and the rainbow one. Let's see, Lord Vader, a red one.
I am the Senate.
Oh, I love this one. The Sidious one that was released, the open source one that was released a couple months ago. The Sidious one is awesome. Let's see. I want to find the rainbow one. Oh, that's the strobe. There we go. The rainbow one, and it also makes the crystal chamber go rainbow. So there's a lot of fun you can have with this. Of course, the first couple fonts are all traditional fonts to the movie, to A New Hope, and nice smooth swing with that. But it's going to be a fabulous saber. It has all the features, everything that you could possibly want, and then some Bluetooth. Let's see if I can make it look really epic here by spinning this around. And you've got Bluetooth, you've got removable chassis pieces, you've got LCD screen, you've got rotating crystal features, you've got NeoPixel, fully removable chassis. It was a pleasure to build this. I hope you have fun with this, Ted. It's been a pleasure, and if you have any questions, just reach out to MK Sabers, and thank you for allowing me the privilege to build your build. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.